All right, so here we are, and we are going to kick off the call right now. It is November the 4th, and we are in the sixth week of the root camp. And only the strong survive. We had two people who have voluntarily, through conversations, rang the bell. And for those of you that were at
Oof.
MLM Mastermind this past weekend, one of the analogies that Randy Gage gave, he was the keynote speaker and the MC, and Randy Gage has built probably one of the largest network marketing companies. I'm gonna mute somebody's phone. Who's
I'm sorry, I'm trying to mute myself. It's my husband's phone.
Okay? I'll mute you. It's okay. Oh, I can't mute you. Okay. Um, so Randy Gage was one of the keynote speakers, and he has built a tremendous organization in the network marketing industry. I mean, just one of the premier trainers and so on. And he kicked off the weekend, and we'll talk a lot about this past weekend as well. But he kicked it off by talking about, um, will you answer the bell or will you ring the bell? And he gave the analogy of Navy SEALs. And what he basically said was that when the SEALs come out for training, um, there's a common thread of understanding where if at any point in time you feel mentally unable to continue or you feel physically unable to continue, that you just can go in the middle of the field and you ring a bell, and then that means that no mas, right? No more. And they go back to their barrack, they get their belongings, and they just go home. And there's a mutual respect, there's a mutual admiration, and they just rang the bell. And they just said, you know what? I can't do it any longer. And what it basically means though is that, you know, not everybody is going to be able to operate, you know, at whatever level they need to get the results they're looking for. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It just means that some people just ring the bell. And the other side of the equation that Randy Gage gave was, or do you answer the bell? And he kind of gave a whole analogy of whether or not we ring the bell and kind of give up, or if we answer the bell. And he gave the analogy of a boxing match. And there was this one particular fight that he kept referencing where this guy was coming out and he just was kept getting pummeled and pummeled and pummeled, but he kept coming back and coming back and coming back, round after round after round, to the point where ultimately the ref had to call the fight as a knockout, or a technical knockout. I'm not sure which one it was, but the guy kept answering the bell. He never gave up, and he didn't win the fight, but he didn't quit. And the decision was made for him. I'm giving it very very broad brush summarization of what Randy Gage talked about, but the reason I'm telling you guys that is because I want you to sit there where you're sitting tonight and know that you're halfway through this program, and the skills that you're going to continue to develop, even just outside of what you're learning in root camp, just the ability to commit to something and to carry through on that commitment and see it to fruition. What you're doing subconsciously that you're not even aware of is you are demonstrating to the universe your commitment, and you are putting it out there and you're doing it, which means that the universe responds accordingly, right? It's like a mirror. If you were to look into a mirror and you waved your right arm all the way from one side all the way to the other side, naturally what shows up in the mirror is the exact same motion. And if you take your left arm and do the exact same thing, that's what shows up in the mirror. Then you jiggle your left leg, and your leg in the mirror jingles. And then you do jumping jacks, and that's what shows up in the mirror. And then you smile, and that's what shows up in the mirror. And then you frown, and that's what shows up in the mirror. So the fact that you're on these calls, guys, and you're halfway through this program right now is just kudos. I mean, kudos to you guys just for answering the bell. I just think it's fascinating personally. So anyway, Um, First things first. What we want to do the hokey pokey. Exactly. Thanks, Sandy. That was good. Um, so what we're gonna do first, guys, just because it's too rich to not talk about, is our experience down in Orlando this past weekend. And and what I want to do is I want to kind of hear from some of the folks that were down there. Obviously, I was texting you guys while we were there and showing you pictures, and you probably saw some stuff on Facebook and other stuff and whatnot. But let's start with Cam. If you can come on first, if you want to unmute yourself for, I think you are unmuted or yourself. Okay, there you go. So Cam, can you
I
just
am now unmuted. Yeah, I
just
done mute myself.
just give us an example of kind of what were your thoughts before you went down there? Tell us some stories about what the experience was like for you, and just kind of give the people on this call just a glimpse of what this was like for you in a minute or two.
It's when you're younger and you go through the experiences in life and you learn about the things that you learn and you go from one place to the next. You never realize basically how you learn. And one of the things that I tried to figure out was when I went down there, I had no idea what to expect because over the course of my life, I didn't realize what really drove me to learn the things I did. And one of the most amazing experiences that I had while I was there was realizing how I learn and how I live. I realized through experiencing the stories that everybody told that I wasn't the only person in this world that had little lies that I told myself and little truths that I never recognized. I never realized that the strengths that I had, I looked at as weaknesses sometimes, and that the weaknesses that I had really could become more of my strengths. And I know that sounds very vague and very generalistic, but in order to understand really what this industry does, I had to go to that. And what it really showed a light on was who I really am and how I lie to myself at times. And what it did really was motivate me to become a better person, not only professionally in terms of what I do in business and the lessons that I learned from Big Al Schreiter and Art Jonek and a lot of the really amazing speakers that were there. But it really taught me how to grow. And that's the epitome, I think, of what this business is. If you can't figure out what you're doing wrong, or why people aren't coming to meetings, or why people aren't doing certain things, it's the only person I now have to look at is myself in the mirror. Because if I'm not showing leadership in my team, and I'm trying to lean on, for instance, like if I'm trying to lean on you, Michael, to do my three-way calls, which I still will do no matter what, but if I don't show leadership to my downline to say, hey, you guys, you can come to me for the things that we need to come to. I don't want to just be on this trip with you, because they're going to see that and reflect that back at me. They're my mirror. And until I really understood that, I was just going to continue sponsoring people that weren't going to do the work, or sponsoring or trying to get people to come in. I've learned that I have to be more curious, that I have to go and talk to people and listen. I have to ask them questions and listen. I've learned that I'm a blue personality, which means I talk all the dang time, and I want to travel, and I want to go do crazy things. And I learned what other people's personalities were like, and I would have never experienced any of this if I didn't have the faith to take a plane trip down to a place I've never been with people I've never hung out with and stay in a room with somebody I've never slept in the room with. And so I think that it would have been the most important part here, I think, is that experience needs to be for every single person in Viridian. Forget the fact that we go through our power-ups and everything else. This is professional training, and it's absolutely necessary. And I think everybody here who was down there will agree with me on this, that was probably some of the best money I've spent in my life.
Awesome, awesome. What would be one takeaway if you had to whittle it down to one thing that you a breakthrough that you had, a revelation, a realization, something that came to you? What would you say one thing is that you was a takeaway for you?
That I have to be more curious when it comes to other people, and to stop talking about myself because and talking about the things I'm doing, and to hide behind that shield because I was scared about what people would think about me for not succeeding in the things that I've already been doing in the industry. That's where it came down to. My takeaway was that I felt a lot like I was trying to hide the lie of what I was doing within the industry, by not really asking others about themselves. So here's the point. Basically, you should always ask about other people because people will always find you interesting if you take an interest in them.
Awesome, awesome. No, it was those are great points. So one of the things that Cam's referring to, guys, I want you to picture this for a second. Everybody on this call, whether you were there or not there, and I want you just close your eyes for a second. I want you to visualize this. So Thursday we fly down there, and Friday the doors kind of open up, and it's filled with about 1,500 people that they're playing the regular music that you have at events. They have the big screens up there. They have the stage all set up. Big performance kind of looking type of a thing. Power up and then some. And it was filled with 1,500 people who are just there on their own accord, and they come out on stage. The lights are shining. The crowd's quiet, and the first day, more or less, you had speakers that were coming up on stage that were just sharing their stories. I would say the first day to a day and a half, it was all about believing or building belief, and there was some extremely hilarious people that were there. There was some other people that were there, but one of the things that Cameron and I were even talking about early on, like right in the beginning of the end of the first day, the first night, was exactly what he's
Yeah.
talking about. And I know I literally watched a transformation take place in Cameron within 3 days from having gone from being this guy that was down there, talking about all these different businesses that he's involved with and so on, to once he kept hearing this message of, being curious and asking people questions and getting to the root of their things. By the end of the session, he was developing tremendous friendships with people in the Viridian network, and he wasn't even saying anything. All he was doing was just asking them questions about what they were doing, or even other people that were outside the Viridian network. So,
Mm.
so anyway, so Cam, kudos to you, and it was great to spend the time down there. So, Danielle, are you on the phone? I muted you. I'm sorry. You're unmuted now.
Yes.
Great. Can you
Okay.
share share with us some
Yeah,
of your
boy was
thoughts?
um I am there was so much. I'm still processing it, and I'm going to be for quite a while. But the the high points for me, or the most important things.
And also, just talk
um
talk first though about your experience before going down there, your thought process, your everything, and then what it was like when you were there.
I was going to do that.
Perfect.
you know and this is so cute, Michael, because this interaction, because one of the little illustrations that happened while we were there was, one of the leaders was talking about your intention. And if I have the intention to, walk across the stage and get to, the speaker at the lectern, and the speaker keeps interrupting me and sending me back, which is what he did with this relatively new associate in another business. Um, and I was sitting there, Michael, and I as I was thinking
You're breaking up. You're breaking up, Danielle.
well,
Your phone's breaking up.
I'm the computer speaker. Do you want to get on the phone instead?
Um, yeah, maybe.
Okay, can somebody just tell me the number so I don't have to waste our time looking it up?
Yeah, it's Oh geez, do I even know it? Yeah, I can tell you right now. Sorry
I
guys, hang
got
on
it.
1 second.
Mike, I got it.
Okay.
The telephone number is 773-897-3000. And let me know when you want the access code.
Uh, okay, let me have the-
So the access code is 797-425-49.
oh, sorry.
449.
I'm sorry, 797. Ugh.
425.
You know what? Can you type it? Can you type it?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
just too much sound stuff going on.
I didn't realize that would be so much easier. Okay, 1 second.
It's at the bottom of the screen there, the meeting ID.
Oh, that's the ID? Great. Okay. All right, it's asking me for an audio pin. I'm giving up on the
Just
phone.
press pound. Press pound.
No, I did. I'm going to just try to, excuse me, I'm just going to try to talk clearly and slowly through the computer speakers. Will that work for people?
We'll see.
Can you hear me? I just did that now. Can you hear me okay?
So far so good, yeah.
Okay, good. So I guess what I need to do first is just curb my enthusiasm because I was speaking very enthusiastically. And I am very enthusiastic about this. What I was describing was just the how someone was asked to follow a certain intention, and she kept being given directions to go back, to where she'd been standing when her intention was to cross the stage and meet up with the leader. And I realized I had gotten to a different place already because I knew that what she needed to do was ignore him and just walk over to him. So, the little exchange that we were having, Michael, I wanted to talk, in fact, about how I felt about going to the conference, which was that I didn't want to go. And I felt obligated. Partly it was obligated because, Michael, you provided the ticket for me very kindly. But also, I felt like it was the moment I needed. Hello?
Who just
There's a lot of echo.
who just came on the phone?
I did.
Who's that?
Rand.
Oh, can you mute your phone, Rand?
Pardon?
Can you mute your phone?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
You're
Hi,
welcome.
Rand. So,
All right.
where was I? Okay, the other reason that I went was that it felt to me like the kind of do or die moment. Do I want to be in this industry? I know I believe in Viridian, but I have had a lot of trouble with how I feel about thinking of myself as a network marketer. A lot of trouble. And what I discovered was that this was not a cheerleading event, which was what I was afraid it would be, that there was enormous content. There was such integrity, such authenticity on the part of the presenters. They created a safe space for us where nobody was identifying what their business was or trying to market to anybody else or recruit anybody else. And so we were all free to learn the similarities that we all have, which is part of what Cameron was talking about. That we're not alone in some of these things we fall down on. There was a great deal of love expressed and in a non-sentimental way. It was awesome. For me, the big takeaways are that I need to just be willing to repeat and repeat and let go of the pressure to turn a phone call into a customer or an associate. Just take the actions, let go of the results. And I know we've heard this before, but I really got it. I also got that the creativity that I cherish in other areas of my life is something that I really can bring to my business in Veridian. And my interest in psychology and a lot of things that make up who I am as an individual, there's a place for them, and not just a place for them, but they're part of. I bought Chris Brady's book, Rascal, Making a Difference by Becoming an Original Character, and I had started reading that. I can be my own kind of rascal and succeed in this business. So there are many, many more things, but those are the things that are most important to me right now.
Awesome.
And Cameron, I saw such a change in you even after that first conversation that we all had in the bar Thursday night. I just want to give you kudos.
Absolutely. He's probably on mute right now, but he said, "So thankful for you." Yeah, I mean, just that was an incredible moment by itself, just on Thursday night before the whole event took place. And I'll just, if you guys don't mind, I'll just share kind of what that was all about, and it kind of goes back to Cam's point. And they were talking on the next day, on Friday. They were talking a lot about, really this business is about asking people questions, and just questions and asking people questions, and really just not with any leading motive, but really just being curious. And so we were at the bar, just kind of hanging out, having dinner on Thursday night when we all got there. And after about 30 minutes, I looked over and I see Danielle sitting there, and she's having a little creme brulee. And Cam was just talking to her for about probably maybe a half an hour. And I was sitting next to him, just literally just observing and talking to somebody else and whatever it was. And so we turned around. This is even before the conference started on Friday. And I turned around and I said, "So Cam, if you had to ask Danielle a question right now after 40 minutes of talking, what's maybe something?" And I could sense Danielle was sitting there, feeling like she was just being talked to for about a half an hour to 40 minutes, because and she was almost like, "Get me out of this seat. Like, how did I end up in this seat? Why am I sitting here being talked to for 40 minutes about somebody else's life?" And it was so funny because I turned around and I said, "All right, so Cam, if you had to ask Danielle a question, what would you ask her?" And sure enough, he was like, "Huh." And so it turned into like a 15-minute or a half an hour just conversation about the power of questions. And Danielle was so relieved when Cameron just started, asking her questions about her. It was such an amazing moment, but the fact that they actually trained on that the next day was just powerful, and it goes back to the saying of, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get everything that you want. And I know it's a cliche saying and you hear it all the time, but it's such a truth and such a reality. So anyway, thanks Danielle for sharing that. That was awesome. And also for you and I had some real special moments down there too, conversationally. And I just saw you really just kind of come into your own down there, and you were able to, it looked at least to me, that you were able to just not take back some of the scales over your eyes, but just kind of, unload some of the heavy weight of some things,
Yeah.
that were either perceptions or, thoughts that we have and that kind of stuff. And I noticed a huge transformation in you, just with you interacting with just so many just strangers that you just met, and you got to meet the one of the people who was running the event, Art Jonak, and had a great
Yeah.
conversation with him. And just anyway, I saw you have a major metamorphosis, from Thursday night through Sunday, and
Yeah.
it was really awesome to be there with you for that. So kudos for reluctantly coming down and leaving, feeling fulfilled. So I'm glad it worked out for you.
And
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Um, awesome. So Russ, are you there, buddy?
See, Mr. Mute.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna mute. I think we're good here. So everybody, if you're don't type too much, guys, down below, because it comes through a little bit here and there. But so Russ, I want to kind of hear from you first. But these were some of the youngest people that were down in Orlando, and what I love about Russ is he has entheos. He has a spirit. He's got a passion. He's just got a great aura and personality, and just has a great way about him, and he's filled with excitement. I mean, just filled with excitement. So when I mentioned to him about this event, his first response was, "I'm there," and me and Dennis are coming down there. And I said, "Wow, for 20-year-old, 19, 20, 21-year-old guys." He calls me up last week and tells me he's reading John Maxwell books and listening to Think and Grow Rich, and he is just a sponge right now, just taking it all in. And I can't tell you how many people commented to me on Dennis and Russ, from the Viridian Network for being down there. They fully immersed themselves in the program. They took a lot of their hard-earned money. These guys are going to school full-time, and they're working as well. And they took some of their hard-earned money that they didn't really even have, and they went down to Orlando. At their ages, I'm just blown away. So, Russ, from your perspective, share with us a little bit about your experience down at one of these first big events outside of a Viridian event.
Yeah, sure. I would definitely say that this weekend was one of my single greatest experiences of my life. Before I even, went out there, I knew that I had to make a lot of sacrifices before I went out there. So some of the things I had to do was I had to fly out there Friday, which it started, and I had actually 2 classes. So I had to sacrifice 2 classes. But, I thought to myself, I could go to class, I could get knowledge, in school. Well, or I could, get so much more knowledge through about network marketing. And this is definitely, I got so much information, and I'll agree that this was more important than, even like a semester of college. I would say just how much I understood and how much knowledge I got. I also had, work that I had to call out of this weekend that I went. So instead of working, I actually, didn't work and had to, invest time, invest, money in myself. And I knew that was, you got to invest money in yourself to overcome and to become successful. So that's another thing that I did. But I also knew that, you're making sacrifices, and I knew that it's like an investment for my life. Listening to the top leaders in all of network marketing talk about, what worked for them and their stories, it was truly amazing. It was truly touching. I'm so glad, I'm going up the network marketing ladder instead of the corporate ladder, which he talked about. And instead of, going down the corporate ladder in my life, I'm actually starting out this young as a network marketing ladder. I don't have to go up the corporate ladder and then come down the corporate ladder and go into the network marketing. I'm 100% in, and that's the ladder that I want to, that I'm chosen. Chris Brady talked about how he got rejected so many times. He worked his network marketing business for, he said, 2 years, and he couldn't sponsor one distributor into his business. But, Chris kept going. He was persistent. He was determined to make it work. Chris was not going to let anyone stop him from achieving what he desired. Now he's earning a six-figure monthly income from his network marketing business. And just listening to Chris's stories truly inspires me to keep working on my business, even though, you know, there's going to be challenges that are going to be along the way. So being determined to succeed and just not letting anything stop me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what would you say would be one experience that you remember while you were there that you'd want to share that you felt had a real impact on you, no matter what it was, a conversation, you know, a meal or something, but something that occurred for you while you were there. You know, share with us that story.
Well, you know, listen to some of the top leaders talk about, you know, one of the top leaders, he said he was an immigrant. He came to this country and he had absolutely nothing. He was actually a pizza delivery guy, and it just broke my heart because, you know, I also came from a different country, and same exact thing. You know, my family and I, we went through some really hard times, and so I could definitely relate to, you know, his story on a personal level, and just looking at the top leaders and listening to the stories, how, wow, you know, they really went through all this stuff, and it makes us seem like, man, they were even in a worse position than what we were. And so if they can do it, you know, so can we, so can I. And just being determined to succeed and not letting anything, you know, stop us. That's what I really got out of network marketing mastermind event this week.
Awesome. And how about just real quick, just to end, what did your sister text you when you were out to dinner on Friday or Saturday night?
Well, that just kind of blew me away. It was like the icing, you know, at the top. She actually texted me saying that she just got her third customer, and, you know, she already got her second, and she just got her third. So her fast start bonus, and, you know, just watching my team grow, even though it's leverage. You know, I'm not there, you know, kind of pushing her. I'm not there, you know, telling her, hey, you know, oh, you have to go out today or something. She's already growing the business. She knows what she has to do, and it's not really. It's coming to that point where, you know, I'm seeing the change right now. I'm seeing the leverage where I don't have to be there and working, and now it's like the business is growing. So I'm truly excited about that.
Awesome. Well, good job and kudos for being there. And then the last one we have here on the call is Dennis. Are you there?
Yes.
All right, buddy. And speak up a little louder if you can. But so for those of you that don't know Dennis is I don't even know if Dennis is, you know, I don't know if he's 19, 20, 21, or 40. I can't quite tell because he's like one of the most mature for his age I've ever met. And another story of somebody who just has kind of that fire in his eye and just a real strong willingness to want to learn and grow. And I met Dennis a number of months ago when we were at, I don't even remember what event it was. It might have been up in Massachusetts or something. But since then, he's been texting me all the time and emailing me and really kind of on top of this and wants this to work in a big way. And if I had to say, you know, one of the things I would say is that when Dennis first showed up at this event, he's a little quiet. You know, he was a little shy and just reserved, so to speak, and not in a bad way, you know, or a good way. Just that was my observation. And as the days kind of progressed, you know, he was just kind of coming completely into his own being, and it was really powerful and exciting to watch. And we were just kind of hanging out and, you know, giving high fives and just and I think everybody that was at the conference was looking at these two young guys saying, "Oh my gosh, I wish I had learned about this industry when I was your age," you know. But Dennis, just maybe share with us your experience just in a minute or two here.
Yeah, the mastermind event opened my heart and educated my mind. It was absolutely incredible. Most importantly, the event was all about the associates that were there. Walking into the ballroom, I noticed posters on the carpet that said, "Hey, you're awesome. Hey, you look great. Smile." I sat down, cleared my mind because I was hungry to receive the message that the speakers had prepared for me. I listened, took notes, and even recorded some of the speakers. The leaders who spoke there connected with every single person in the audience. After speaking with so many network marketers who, by the way, were there from all over the world, I noticed that everyone had learned something revolutionary. Have you ever had a wow moment? I certainly did, and by the looks of other people's faces, by the sparkle in their eyes, I was sure that many of us have shared the same feeling. Since the event, my confidence level has gone up. I learned to leave all my problems behind and focus on work. In addition to that, I have a notebook that contains all of the information which inspired me and tactics which will turn me into a successful leader. There was a session called the Hot Seat where 6 random associates from the crowd had a chance to present about their network marketing on stage. But the deal was that after their presentation, the event speakers would criticize their mistakes. I was really impressed when Randy Gage took the same story that was just told by an associate and said it in a more appealing way. He used body language and tone, which was much more interesting to watch and listen to. That's something that I decided to change in my presentation. Most importantly, by the end of the weekend, I realized that I want to change people's lives, and I want to do it with love. Here are some of my favorite quotes from the speakers. Promote life-changing stories, not numbers, Dana Collins. Make it simple, Wes Linden. You have to stubbornly proceed through failure to achieve success, Justin Harrison. And finally, leadership is not in status, position, or title. It's about results, Orrin Woodward. Now, I can't really recreate the event for you. I can't express 3 days worth of information into 3 minutes, but I can tell you that it's a true game changer for me. Walking out of the ballroom for the last time, I realized that network marketing is my profession, and now it's time for me to become a professional.
Wow. That, I don't even know. All right, I'm not even going to say anything because I don't even know what to say. Just powerful, powerful stuff. And anyway, so that was, guys, just a little recap of the weekend. And like I think Dennis just said it perfectly, it's really hard to recap in 3 minutes or a few minutes here what we experienced. But we all have dozens of pages of notes, and the reason I think that it's such a powerful topic to talk about during this week's call, because if we just get back to this week and really what the purpose of this call is, it's using third-party tools to grow your business. And one of the constant reminders at this training, which is very much aligned with what we're talking about in this particular session here, there's no coincidences. That what we just came from is almost a perfect parlay into week 6 topic. But it's really important for all of us to remember that we are not the message, and that all we are is the messenger. And it's the same with everything else in our life. So think about right now things that you're involved with in your own life or have been involved with over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, where you're trying to spread a message, you're trying to spread a vision, you're trying to get people to participate in something that you're involved with, or you're trying to get clients or customers. And think back to some of the conversations that you've had, with people about that. And did you all have a 100% success rate? Have you ever had a prospect that you met with for something that you were passionate about, that rejected it in the conversation? And if they did, what they're basically rejecting is just the message itself, not the messenger, right? Maybe it's not the right time, maybe it's something else, but going to an event like this, I would consider the MLM Mastermind a third-party tool. Okay, maybe not the one that we're going to be talking about tonight as much on the call, but definitely it's a third-party tool, because I want to just share a brief story with you. And one of the stories was by this guy, Big Al. Okay, and he went through a perfect script. And if you have a pen, I'm going to kind of give you guys the script that he gave us. And this is something that I think that everybody who was at the event probably could concur was a major game changer for all of us. This is a third-party tool. This is the first third-party tool. And like Cameron just said in the chat box, everybody needs to write this down. And I'm going to go through it, slow enough so you can write it. But this is all about neurolinguistic programming. Now, what that means is that there are ways to tap into people's capacity to emotionally feel connected to a story. There are certain words that work. There are certain words that are meaningless emotionally. So if we're looking to bring people into something, conversationally or emotionally or intellectually, wouldn't it be nice if you could actually know what some of those words would be that would actually talk to the subconscious mind? And this guy, Big Al, they call him, Big Al Schreiter, he basically said, you guys are you're in the subconscious mind business, right? We're in the business of our subconscious mind. And so yet, how much studying have you done about how to talk to the subconscious mind? Your own and other people's as well. So, we've chosen a career, part-time, albeit, or whatever you want with Viridian. You've chosen a career to talk to the subconscious mind, but have you ever learned how to talk to the subconscious mind? And everyone was sitting there. 1,500 people were saying, no, I really haven't. So, he said, neurolinguistic programming, word choice is like crack cocaine to the brain. It means like it can't get enough of it. That was the analogy, and it was funny in the time. But so here's the first way to open the conversation. If you're writing this stuff down, write this one down. I got a good story. It takes about 2 minutes. It might make you a lot of money. It might not. Want to hear it? So that's the beginning. I got a good story. And people are thinking, cool, I like a good story. Stories are good. And it's why Jesus even spoke in parables in the Bible so often, because stories are what draw people in. People remember stories more than they'll ever remember statistics or numbers or facts or figures and so on and so forth. So the ability to tell a good story is so powerful. So it starts with, I got a good story. And people are saying, really? Okay. It takes about 2 minutes. Now they're saying, I'm locked and loaded. What do you got? Right? Now, it might make you a lot of money. And he's saying the subconscious mind is already programmed knowing that it needs money. So it's like, money, 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 money. You got money? It might make me money. And then you say, it might not. And now the subconscious mind goes into panic mode. Like, no, I need money. It better make me money. What's the story you got to tell me? I want to hear it. And then you ask, you want to hear it. And now at that point, people are kind of sitting on the edge of their seat. Of course they want to hear the story. So it just flows off your lips. I got a good story. It takes about 2 minutes. It might actually make you a lot of money. Might not. You want to hear it? And so people are naturally drawn to say yes. The follow-up question from there is, would it be okay if ... And the question was, in this case, if you never had to show up at work again, or whatever you want to put in that spot. But he's saying, I got a good story. It takes about 2 minutes. Might make you a lot of money. Might not. You want to hear it? Say, yeah, I'd like to hear it. Say, would it be okay if you never had to show up at work again? And then they have an answer there. So then the follow-up is, so how much money would you need just to cover basic minimum expenses so that you don't have to show up to work again? Okay. Can you guys hear my phone okay? Or my, type it in the chat box if you can. Okay, good, because I just got a little thing there. So I'm going to go back to, I got a good story. It takes about 2 minutes. It might make you a lot of money. Might not. Want to hear it? Yeah. Would it be okay if you never had to show up at work again? They have an answer. So, how much money would you need just to cover basic minimum expenses so you don't have to ever show up to work again? And then they have an answer of some sort. $2,000, $1,500, $3,500, $4,000. Okay? Now the next piece you want to write down is this. Well, you know how everyone pays an electric bill? Or if you're selling a nutritional product, like, you know how everybody seems to be overweight these days? Or you know how everybody really is kind of lacking energy? Or you know how people all seem to be this, that, whatever it is. For us, it's, well, you know how everyone pays an electric bill or a gas bill? And then, well, there's a company called XXX. There's a company called Veridian that has a little form on your electric bill that you can check off, and you can actually go green and save money and not overpay money to the utility companies. Or something like, you can fill that part in for yourselves. But the point is that, so how much money would you need just to cover minimal basic living expenses? And this breaks it down, guys, to like the basic common denominators. And one of the things they talked about was that, we in the industry, we get so jaded, hearing about people making $10,000, $20,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month, that we often forget how important an extra $200 or an extra $500 a month, is in a lot of people's lives. And the reality is that the average foreclosure last year was due to a differential between $500 of income versus expenses. And think about that. So an extra $500 to $1,000 or $1,500 is a lot of money. That would change a lot of people's lives, or at least be a good starting point. So we have to remember that. And so if we knew what people had to have to cover their basic minimum expenses, it's probably going to be around $2,000 to $5,000 minimum. And then you parlay right into, well, how everyone pays an electric bill or a gas bill, or how everyone has a roof, for solar. Well, there's a company called Veridian, and then you can, whatever from there you want to put down. I said my little thing, that has a little form. On your electric bill, you can check a box or go on the computer in 4 minutes, and you can actually choose green energy and save money and stop overpaying money to the utility companies. Now, and then he goes into the next part, which is, now, if you never wanted to go to work again, all you have to do is ... In our case, it could be to get, 2,000 people who want to lower their electric bill, or you could say, show a video to a couple dozen people. So the part here, I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to play it all the way through again. I got a good story. It takes about 2 minutes. It might make you a lot of money. It might not. You want to hear it? Would it be okay if you never had to show up at work again? So how much money would you need just to cover basic minimal expenses so that you wouldn't have to show up to work again? Well, you know how everyone pays an electric bill? Well, there's a company called Veridian that has a little box on your electric bill or gas bill where you can go on the computer in 4 minutes and you can check a box and say, I want to save money and go green, and not overpay money to the utility company and put that money back in your pocket. Now, if you never wanted to have to go to work again, all you have to do is show a 18-minute video to a couple dozen people. Now, the last two parts here are this. It says, now, you don't know how to get a couple dozen people. Or, if you said before, all you have to do is get 2,000 people who want to lower their electric bill, who want to pay a lower electric bill than a higher one, right? If you want to make $2,000 a month, you got to get 2,000 customers in your downline. So you could say, now, if you never wanted to work again, all you have to do is get 2,000 people to pay a lower electric bill than a higher one. And then you say, well, now you don't know how to get 2,000 people, but you could learn. And that's what you want to type out. Now, you don't know how to get a couple dozen people to show a video to, but you could learn. Or you don't know how to get 2,000 people, but you could learn. And these are all playing on words, guys. They think of you could learn, and they're thinking to themselves subconsciously, I could learn. And then you say, you've learned how to drive a car before, or you've learned how to play a sport, and now you're firing on their neurons where they're saying to themselves, yes, I have learned how to do things before. I could do that. And then we say you could certainly learn a system to get 2,000 customers. And then the close really is, so what's going to be easier for you? So-and-so, whatever their name is. Life as it is, or learn a system. And I'm giving you the simplistic version of this, guys, but there was some stuff that was there, and this is a third-party tool Um, and it was very similar to Danny Johnson, where she says, what did you like the most about the video? They give an answer. Say, tell me more about that. They give you that answer. Say, well, do you want to make a lot of money or a little bit of money? Do you want to make residual income or do you want to make non-residual income? Do you want to make, do you want to help the environment a lot or do you want to help it a little bit? And any rebuttal, yeah, Cam, thanks. Any rebuttal that they come up with, where you can certainly learn a system, and they say, well, I don't even know enough people. Say, well, you'll learn that in a system. Or I don't know how to handle We'll teach you that in a system. Everything that we have is a system, and everything that they have as an objection would be learned in the system. So, but the close is really kind of the and/or. So what is going to be easier for you? Life as it is, or learning a system? And Danny Johnson's close was, so given your current job or your current situation, how long is it going to take you to be able to generate X amount of money, or $2,000 a month of residual income, or how long will it take you to be able to travel the world as you desire, or how long will it take you to whatever? And the answer, guys, invariably for both Big Al's close here or Danny Johnson's or anybody else, it's all the same stuff, just kind of packaged up a little bit differently, is knowing full well that 99.9% of the time, if people kept doing what they did over the last 12 months for the next 12 months, that their life would not be moving in the direction that they really want it to. It's an invariable given, right? It's a given in the grand scheme of life, because 99.9% of the time people feel unfulfilled. They feel like they're not making enough money. They feel like they're kind of in a rat race, or if they're self-employed, they're not making what they thought they'd be making, or they're putting more money back in the business, and so on and so forth. So our job, as Orrin Woodward talked about, I'm going to give you these four topics or four sequences that he talked about. Our job is to put people on the train, number one. All right? So type that out. Our job is to put people on the train. Numero uno. And getting them to make that first little decision to get involved. So when you're asking people, so what do you want? You want to continue with your life as it is? Or do you want to learn a system? Do you want to do nothing, or do you want to do something? Do you want to get involved, or do you want to stay at your blood-sucking job that you hate, working for somebody that, whatever? And Big Al's got some classics, so, so the first thing you want to do, though, is you want to put people on the train. And what he says is that, whenever you have a frustration, either in your downline or in your business or into this or into that, go right back to your activity. And I guarantee you that your frustration in other people and in your downline is in direct correlation to the lack of activity in our own business. So, he also mentioned you can't get wealthy without helping other people get wealthy. And if your train is not moving, then people aren't going to get on, which is why you want to be going to certain things and showing up at certain events and plugging into root camp, stuff like this. And that's what you guys are all doing. So your trains are moving. People want to be on trains that are moving. So first things first is put people on the train. Get them out of the... Think about this, guys. Out of 100 people, 97 will never be able to retire. Right? So it's kind of like pouring like some sort of like a solution on them, and they're gripped on this pole. It's like they're crazy glued to this pole of an unsuccessful life, and they're so unwilling to let go out of fear. And we're coming in with a solution that we're pouring on it, and some people are ready to come off the pole and some aren't. But all we want to do is we want to get people off that pole that's leading them not down the path that they want to go down, spiritually, emotionally, financially, whatever it is. And all we want to do is get them on the train. Give them a chance. Give them a shot in life. And if they don't come on the train, then they're not going to get a shot. It's like they say in church, get them in the doors first, then worry about what pew they go in. Don't worry about what pew they're going in before they even open get in the doors. So we want to get people on the train. And then number two was you want to just love them and encourage them. You want to love them and encourage them. And this was a big one for me, guys. I'm going to just be totally transparent here, and it's a little humbling, but I need to do a much better job of kind of loving and encouraging people. I try to do the best job I can. I send people stuff in the mail, and I send them little texts and emails and so on. But he said, when you're blessed, be a blessing. And when people get on your bus, they have major issues already in their life. I mean, they already have it, because if there's a mirror underneath their nose, which means that they're breathing and they're alive, that they have major issues. Again, financially, self-image, relationships, something, right? So nobody likes people who are pointing out the problem that people have. They already know that they have problems. That's why they got involved in your business, to help fix those problems. So he's saying, get them on the train and love them and encourage them, right? Because their boss is already pointing out all the things that they're not doing, which is why they came on your train. And then we go right into this mode of finding all the things that are wrong with them and what they're not doing, and they feel like they're back into another job. And they don't want that, right? So it's going to take a massive amount of love and encouragement, to bring people. And what he's saying is that there's a process that evolves, right, in this business. There's an entire process that occurs, that a lot of which is going to happen outside of your doing, right? You're not going to be the agent of change necessarily. People are going to go through experiences in their life. They're going to meet other people in the business or outside the business. They're going to have other revelations and epiphanies of their own, and whatever your higher being is, God's going to be working on that person as well during the process. Books are going to be speaking to these people in a certain way. Little audios they're going to be listening to are going to impact them in ways that you'll never understand. So they're going to be nurtured along the way anyway, and all we need to do is love them and encourage them along the way. It's like pouring water on this flower and just trying to give it as much love and encouragement as possible. And one of the most powerful quotes that he had was that you can't improve yourself when you are deceiving yourself. So write that down. And we all have an incredible way of deceiving ourselves and telling ourselves stories to justify certain things. And that was the damn truth. Yeah. So number 3 was, now they're on your train. You got them on your train. You love them and then you encourage them. And then you serve them cookies and cream on the train. Right? Just serve them cookies and cream. And then number 4 is to be and to teach them how to be talent scouts as well. And what that basically means is go out there and find other hurting people and give them a glimmer of hope that they can actually get involved with something that's going to provide for them, in purpose, in the area of purpose, in the area of being social, and also financially. I mean, there's nothing else on the planet that does that for people, that gives them something to plug into that's going to give them potentially massive amounts of money, fantastic friendships for life, and a sense of purpose in the world. I mean, it's like, no matter whether it's Veridian or any other network marketing company, it's kind of how it works. That's how our industry works. So put them on the train, let the nurturing take place. Let life do some of the nurturing. Love them and encourage them to death, and just keep serving them cookies and cream and smiling and saying, you can do it, Lindsay, you can do it, Sally, you can do it, Joe, you can do it, Bobby, I believe in you. Who else is doing that in their life? I mean, who else seriously is doing that? And then you go out and become talent scouts. That's what he said. Those were his 4 things. So the last part for his section here, this was Orrin Woodward. And this guy, guys, here's the little bio. Packing stadiums with 12,000 plus team members. That's what he does. He's got 12,000 plus team members. Orrin and Lori Woodward are the #1 earning distributors in their company, earning multiple 7 figures per year. Orrin is all about leadership development, evidenced by the best-selling book that he co-authored titled Launching a Leadership Revolution, and his recent book, Leadershift. By the way, Launching a Leadership Revolution is a fantastic book. If you have not read that or heard of it, I would strongly encourage it. It is spectacular. Like many people, Orrin first struggled in the business, but after years of study, he unlocked the key to duplication and his team began to grow dramatically. Today, he has the largest group in his company, and his team fills stadiums every 4 months with over 12,000 people. As great as their achievements in the business are, Oren and Lori take great pride in always finding time for family, spirituality, helping others, and actively supporting All Grace Outreach, which gives to many charities around the country. They have 4 children and split their time between their estates in Florida and Michigan. So those are his 4 things there. And he said you want to be so busy that you don't start making other people who are not doing something your problem. And the reason that we get frustrated at other people who aren't doing things or generating their results is because we're not busy enough ourselves. It's pretty simple. So hurting people hurt people. You've probably heard that before, but hurting people hurt people. So that's going to be one of my new shifts for everybody on this team here, is to be a little bit more empathetic and less focused on just what results do you have and what results do you have and what results. Of course, I want to help you get results, but I want you guys to feel like this is a safe place, that it's a place for all of us to be authentic, to be real, and to not be reprimanded for doing something or not doing something. This is not a jail. This is not. I'm not somebody's employer. We are all in this thing together, and I'm gonna inject a heck of a lot more love and encouragement and cookies and cream along the way. And that's something I can say on this call that I'm committing to. I really want the best for me and for you and for everybody else. And so anyway, that was a really, really powerful part of the conversation that we learned. So as we kind of go into the last part here, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. And we've got about 20 minutes left here. So we did a recap of the weekend. I want to talk about the third-party tools in specific format as to what we can use to grow our businesses. Now, I also want to just kind of share a story about just the vision and the dream part of this whole thing, guys, because this is a vision and a dream part for you. And I want to just put some stuff in perspective, numbers-wise, just to remind you of the urgency. And we actually did this at Don Embriaco's house party a few weeks ago. And what I'm about to share with you is so compelling that one of his associates completely committed to being re-engaged and has been involved for a couple of years and kind of just fell off a little bit and got back on track. And he's putting a home meeting together now on a Saturday. I'm going to go down to his house and do it for him. And so I'm about to share with you was a game changer for him. And it really shifted his entire paradigm about what he's really involved with. And what we basically did is we drew I'll see if I can do it on this chart here. So this is really not going to be a good, but this is New Jersey here. Okay, you guys all see that wonderful, awful looking New Jersey? I think it kind of goes down like this actually. So anyway, that's New Jersey. And your state's very similar, okay, whether it's New York or Massachusetts or what have you. So in New Jersey, we have Rockland County Electric up here. We have JCP&L in this area. We have PSE&G in this area. We have JCP&L again down here. And we have Atlantic City Electric down here, okay? Now, there's about 3.5 million electric meters and about 3.5 million gas meters. Okay, about 7 million meters total. Now, deregulation kind of hit the scenes. It's been available since the late 90s, since 1999 here in New Jersey. But it was mostly available for commercial, large commercial. Hadn't really been available for small to mid-sized businesses or residential until Veridian came into town. Okay? Now, keep in mind, guys, that the the Northeast is leading the charge on deregulation. If you look at the chart on the PowerPoint presentation and in the video, the Northeast is where the gold rush is. Like California was where the gold rush was, way back when. Well, the Northeast is where this gold rush is starting. So in 2009, when this first became available, only for about a half a year, 1,000 residents out of the 3.5 million chose a third-party provider. Now, by 2010, that number jumped to about 140,000 in 1 year. Now, 140,000 out of 3.5 million is still a far cry from, penetration. It's like a 0.04% penetration, or it's a 4% penetration, I should say. But now, in 2013, okay, the number is closer to 520,000 people. And again, your states are very much the same. So look at what's going on right now, whether it's in New York, Massachusetts, Maryland, Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and so on. So 500,000 is about 15% of the state now has chosen somebody. But I want this to be put in perspective here. Connecticut has been educating its residents just a real short trip away for 3 years longer than we have. And what would you guys guess? Put in the chat box, how many people in Connecticut, if they've been educating the residents for 3 years longer than we have here in New Jersey, do you think have chosen a third-party provider in Connecticut? Put the percentage that have chosen a third-party provider. 15% says Cameron, 60% says Maurice. Bet about the same. 19% says Russ. 30% says Dennis. 30% says Bob. 5% says Nagy Bomb. The answer is 60%, guys. Maurice, you hit the nail on the head, buddy. 60% of people in Connecticut have chosen a third-party provider. Now, what that means is two things. Number one, 40% haven't chosen anybody yet. And of this 60%, when consolidation takes place in the next 3 to 5 years, and half the businesses that they're with right now go out of business because their model is not sustainable, then they're available to choose somebody else that they want, like a greener company. I don't know if you guys know of any green companies that are out there. I mean, would you rather go with a green company or would you rather go with a brown company once you're aware of it? So imagine if out of 3.5 million people, even here in New Jersey, or even look at New York, right? I only have these numbers, but the concept is the same. So times 60%, that's 2.1 million customers in New Jersey choosing a third-party provider in the next 3 years. Okay, now Texas, guys, over here, way down here, Texas has been educating its residents for about 2 to 3 years longer than Connecticut. And about 85 to 90% of residents in Texas have chosen a third-party provider. So just putting it in perspective here, New Jersey's already gone from 1,000 to 140,000 to 520,000, soon to be 2 million. Now, let's just say that Veridian, okay, gets about 30% of the market share just here in New Jersey. So 30% of that number is 630,000 customers in New Jersey alone, okay, which is 30% of all the customers that chose somebody in the next 3 to 5 years. And what if you only got 5% of the Veridian market share, which was only 30% of the total market share in just one state? That would be 31,000 customers in your business, probably throwing off between $25,000 and $40,000 a month of residual income in the next 3 to 5 years. Do you guys understand what's going on right now? Like, do you guys fully get what's up right now with watching where things are going? And there's going to come a point in time where 3 to 5 years from now we look back and we say, "Oh my gosh." And I don't think any of us on this call, you wouldn't be in this camp, you wouldn't be on this business, we wouldn't do anything if we didn't want to take advantage of it, right? And what are we doing? We're helping people choose a cleaner, greener product while saving money. and creating friendships, traveling the world, and creating residual income, for the rest of their life. It is such a, but the point I'm trying to emphasize is that the urgency factor, we have to operate our business with a major sense of urgency, which means that you don't need to go through a whole vetting process. And one of the things I realized that I was doing a lot in my recruiting was I was repelling people from joining by just making it too hard and saying, well, if you're not willing to kind of do this, and this, then maybe this isn't for you. And I wasn't giving them the opportunity to even get on the train. Not anywhere near as much as I know I can. And so let's get people on the train. Let the process take care of itself. Love them and encourage them. Give them cookies and cream, and then help them become talent scouts. Because, guys, in the next 3 to 5 years, you could literally set yourself up for forever. And you have two options. And I'm going to read off just a couple questions that Big Al kind of went through. Are you okay with 40 years of hard labor to make your boss rich? Are you okay with 5 days of every week being taken away from you? Are you okay with waking up early to work hard for somebody else's dreams? Are you okay with taking orders from somebody else for the next 40 years? Are you okay with someone else telling you how much money you can make? Are you okay with only a few weeks of holiday each year? Are you okay with giving up your freedom for a job that you don't enjoy? Are you okay with working in a job that you have no passion for? Are you okay with giving up your dreams to work on your boss's dreams? Are you okay with begging someone else for a raise? Are you okay with staying on your friend's couch and not having a place of your own? Are you okay with not having a car? Are you okay with limited time travel? Are you okay with wrinkling a little bit more every night? Are you okay with not having enough energy to play with your grandchildren? Are you okay with not having enough money to send your children to private school? Are you okay with having your kids go to daycare? Are you working so hard that your boss has to buy a bigger house for his retirement? Are you fighting weight for the rest of your life? And then some examples of what would happen if? What would happen if you didn't have to wake up every morning to go to work? What would happen if you had more holiday time with family? What would happen if you didn't spend so many hours commuting to work every week? What would happen if you had an extra paycheck every month? What would happen if you could retire next year? What would happen if you had a bigger paycheck for your family? What would happen if you could take a 5-star vacation with the kids? What would happen if you had more time to work on your own dreams? And these were all inducing questions. These were all very, very thought-provoking questions that they would actually ask to prospects. So let me erase this stuff here, guys. In the last 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to give you guys some tools here that are third-party tools. Now, and this is going to be part of your homework assignment, okay? So one of those tools is, if I can pull it up here, I'll be recording my usernames and passwords. That's probably not going to be good for people. So we've got this copy. Okay. So this is a tool, a third-party tool that a gentleman by the name of Tim Sales. Okay, if you don't know Tim Sales, I'm just going to show you on our website, tmentheos.com. Okay, underneath MLM resources and training, when it finally loads, there's a section in there about leaders to follow. Okay, and Tim Sales is a great leader in the network marketing industry. He's got a lot of great tools that teach people how to be very professional, and he's got some great videos here. His MLM a pyramid scheme. I don't have time. How do you answer that one? What does I'm not interested really mean? So you go on there and watch that. But he's got one called Brilliant Compensation. Okay, now when you click on Learn More, okay, Brilliant Compensation says, oops, the page not found. Okay, great. They changed their website since. But basically, I have a link here, and I pay $29 a month. You don't have to do that. But they have Brilliant Compensation in 2 forms. Okay, one is as a video, and then one is as a um, as an audio. Okay, it is one of the best audios and videos I've ever seen, because what it is basically is this. Um, Before you even introduce somebody to a product in network marketing, don't you guys think that maybe it might be helpful for them to be comfortable with the distribution model that they might not really understand or be aware of at all? So if they are not familiar with MLMs and network marketing, and they have this preconceived notion of what it is and so on and so forth, if you could use a generic tool, Brilliant Compensation, the description of it is this. There's a guy by the name, I think his name is Dr. Charles King or something like that, and he's a professor at a business school out in the Midwest, and he's a Harvard graduate and so on. And a student of his came up to him years ago and said, "Professor, what do you think about network marketing?" And he said, "Son, I know enough about that to know that I want to know nothing else." And the student said to him, "Professor, if I gave you that answer on a test, you'd give me an F. That wasn't substantiated by any evidence or findings or examples. You can't just say I know enough to know I'm not interested. What does that mean? Like, what do you know then to know that you're not interested? And you would give me an F if I gave you that answer." And he said, "You know what, son?" He said, "You're right. You are 100% right." And so in any event, he went ahead and said, and they went on a quest, I think for 6 months or a year, something like that. This professor went around to all the top network marketing companies in the country and visited with them at their headquarters and met with the top executives and the owners and interviewed them. And at the end of that experience, he came back and became a complete evangelist for the network marketing industry. And they actually created an entire curriculum in their business school about direct selling and multi-level marketing as what he refers to now as the most brilliant compensation model in the marketplace. And so this video is a 18-minute video that just talks about how do you even evaluate a business if you're going to get into a home-based business. What are the things that you should even look at in terms of trends, in terms of this, in terms of that, in terms of whatever? What are those things? And then it talks about how network marketing works extremely generically, okay, not about any one company. And at the end of this, you would basically say, holy cow, that is brilliant. And again, it's an audio, and it is also a DVD. So one of the things I like to do is to have some of these audio CDs available so I can give them or mail them to a prospect. They're $2 a pop. And say, what, hey, listen to this if you can. So that's one generic tool. I have a link here. I can send this to somebody, and I can say, what, before we talk any further, go ahead here, watch this video. It's called Brilliant Compensation. If you have more questions, we'll talk after that, and so on and so forth. So one of the homework assignments, guys, is going to be to watch this video. And even if you've watched it before, watch it again. And then there's another video right below it where it says, if you have no business experience, watch this first. And this video is called What the Wealthy Buy on Payday. Okay, and it's like an 8-minute video that talks about why the poor stay poor, why the middle class stay stuck in the middle class, and how the wealthy get more wealthy. And it's an 8-minute video about what the wealthy buy on payday, and it's fascinating. So anyway, this is, in my opinion, this is a great third-party tool. Again, I have a website here I pay $29 a month for, and I can drive people to this as a tool. And then if they request information in there, then they go ahead and go on this auto email campaign, that just keeps in touch with them for like the next 6 months. But this has nothing to do with Veridian. Okay, it kind of wets people's whistle for the industry. So, in the meantime, you can either buy the DVD, I believe, or the CDs if you wanted to. I'm not sure where they are there, but or you can use mine, in the short term or something like that. But I want you guys. I'm gonna send you the link to this page, and your homework is just gonna be to watch that video. That's one tool. Another one is let me see here if I can find it this way. Okay, so the other one is you want to go to checkoutthebiz.com. And checkoutthebiz.com is a...
Will you please welcome Randy Gage?
I think you can make it bigger. I just don't know how to do it. Zoom in, zoom out. So you can make this bigger somehow, some way. But what this basically does, guys, this is a presentation that Randy Gage, who again is one of the premier, preeminent network marketers in the world, and this is a group of people who were doing an opportunity meeting for prospects, and they brought him in, as kind of like the person, and he does about, I'm gonna say, an hour presentation here that will blow your mind. I mean, it will absolutely rivet you, because you'll notice he doesn't talk anything about the specific company. And what he does is he talks to people about getting their dreams back in life and giving them the opportunity and the ability to dream again. And this is a great generic tool as well. You can send somebody to, go to this website, check out the biz.com, and just check this out. And this is a generic tool that you guys can use. So you want to continue using these kinds of tools. And so your 2 homework assignments are going to be basically to watch those videos this week and take some notes. There's a lot of other stuff, guys, I'm not going to have time to get into today. Like Robert Kiyosaki has one called The Business of the 21st Century. Okay? And it talks about how, network marketing specifically is the business of our time. And you can use GoPro as a third-party tool. We have, by the way, for all of the people who probably know already, but on LiveViridian.com, I want to give you guys a little tip here. When you go in here under videos, okay, we have all sorts of videos that are here, whether it's our solar video, we have associate videos, we've got our videos of the trips that we've been on, we got lots and lots and lots of videos. Over on the left-hand side, we have videos of our events, right? Power Up, so here's 2013 Power Up recaps. We have videos from sustainability, the Fiji video, the Indonesia video, stuff like that. And we also have videos of our associates, right? So we have videos of people who qualified for Audis in here. We have videos of people's profiles. So you might watch some of these videos here and then see, whose video might speak to somebody that you're trying to talk to. Like Johnny Lowe's got a great video. Well, when you pull up a video here, this is the tip. You can actually send this video
I'm Johnny Lupresso,
to somebody directly by coming down here, okay, in this little toolbar, and when you click on email this to a friend, okay, it pops up the link right in your email that goes directly to Johnny Lowe's video. Not to just, it goes right to his video. And that's, now Danielle, they're going to go to they're going to get put into LiveViridian. But this is a way to send them to this link directly. It happens to be part of LiveViridian. There's a whole other way that you can send them just a video. But guys, you can take this link that's here, and you can do a lot with it. You can take this link. Check this out. You can copy this link, and you can go to, say that you're on Facebook, or say you want to email it to a friend or whatever, and you kind of go in there, and you can post stories of people who are in the business. And right there, it drives them right to that link. So you can say, hey, check out a story of my great friend, Johnny Lowe. Or check out a story of one of my business associates that's in the business. And all of a sudden, you're kind of spreading the word around, and you're showing people a different side of it. You can delete the link out of there. It still stays down below. And you tell a story. Hey, check out a video of... Oops. Check out a video of my friend Michael, who was $500,000 in debt and is living a life of freedom right now, or hey, check out a video of my friend or my partner, my associate, Joe Barricata, who was who worked for the post office, then fired his boss, and anyway, so on and so forth. So these videos are powerful third-party tools to use. So I'll wrap up with this. I would say that why use third-party tools? Well, because you want to be the messenger, not the message. So third-party tools take it away from you, which is fantastic. When to use third-party tools? I would use them when you're trying to recruit people. I would use them when you're trying to follow up with people. I would use them, at different stages. And then what third-party tools to use? I gave you just a couple. So I would basically say that you want to watch those 2 videos, or those 3 videos, I should say, this week for your homework. That's just going to be what your homework is, to watch those 3 videos. So anyway, guys, that's basically what we got for this week, and we're going to talk next week really about what's called a PC3, personal customer communication campaign. And we have I have a whole program that's kind of laid out for you guys that you can use to stay in touch with. Oops, sorry, there's something here. Do we want to make the whole site accessible to prospects? Anyone knows they can edit a site name to go to a home page. So Danielle's asking, if you send them to a video and then they kind of get lost on LiveViridian, how do you avoid that? And the answer is you really can't avoid it fully. Say not all videos are suitable for all prospects. Danielle, I can talk to you afterwards. I think I talked to you about a program I use called Movavi, and you can actually record a video. That's what I've done before. I've recorded the video and just saved it on my own and put it on my YouTube channel, and then I just send them to that video by itself. So if anybody wants to talk about that or learn how to not have them go directly to LiveViridian, but how to be able to record a video through a system or a program on your computer, and then be able to just have that video as a standalone piece to be able to then send out to people. I can certainly help you guys with that if you have any questions about that. So that's what we got for today, guys. Any other questions in the chat box? Any comments or questions before we officially wrap up here? Right back at you, Cam. Okay, all right, guys. Wait, the video recording bit might be another good how-to for the Team Entheos website. Yes, yep. I'll definitely be doing that. I already have that as one of my upcoming messages, for sure. So I mean, yeah. Actually, you know what? Before we wrap up here, I'll show you guys on Team Entheos, just so you know, because this is this just came up. But under Tools, okay. Under Tools, or maybe not. There we go. I put together kind of a compilation of tools and systems and things that I use to make it kind of really turnkey and easy. Sorry, taking a little bit here to load, guys. So just okay. So down here you can see that one of them is Aweber. It's an autoresponder email thing. Another one is Constant Contact. You guys have probably seen that and kind of how I send my emails out through that system. Weebly is kind of what I use for my my blog and our team website and that kind of stuff. Join.me is a screen share session where you can actually link up with somebody as a direct screen share. GoToMeeting, you guys are familiar with that. You're on that right now. And so on and so on. Movavi, this is the program I use. Okay, so you can go on there and get some more information or details, and I can obviously talk to you about that as well. People are typing in stuff in terms of suggestions, and one of the things I put up here is that there are thousands of products out there, some of which may be superior to what I've listed below, and that's not the purpose of this section. It's basically I wanted to just consolidate some of the tools that I use into one location and share them with people. And I would love to hear of other programs that people have for what they use. So anyway, guys, kind of go in there and just check out some of the programs that could be there, or I'm available like I always am for you guys to chat about some of these things. So let me finish these last 2 comments down below. Those who came to the MLM Mastermind, the link, there's a recap call at 8:30. Yes, yep. I love how you use the illustration about how many people have chosen and how many. Yeah, so Great, Russ. So yeah, it's all about urgency. You know, you want to lock arms, guys. You want to pour that solution on people who are clinging on to something that's not going to give them the life that they want, and get them on your train, and love them and nurture them and care and all that stuff. And then let's keep going and growing, guys. So congrats for being on another call. And that's it for this week. So I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.